Hi, welcome to a short Pilates workout. Today's workout, we're going to focus on our posture. So we're going to work on a deep strengthening through the core to start the workout. We're then going to move into strengthening through the back of the body, helping to build open posture through the chest and strong muscles through the back of the body. And then we're going to finish with working through the flexibility at the hips so we can kind of counterbalance that bent hip position and that rounded shoulder posture that we often find ourselves in day-to-day life. So to get started, we'll do a quick warm-up for the spine. We're going to start on our hands and knees. So settling into your hands and knees position. Let's just do a few cat-cow movements with the spine. Rounding the spine, dropping your forehead down, chin towards chest. Exhale, uncurl, drop the belly button down, lift the hips and the tailbone up. Lift through the chest, look towards the edge of the front of your mat. Inhale, round, tuck your tailbone. Feel the curve through the spine and relax through the neck and head. Exhale, uncurl, and then roll that pelvis forward into a gentle back opener. Feeling that belly button drop forward, tailbone lift up. Inhale to round, spinal flexion. Exhale to uncurl, arching the lower back into spinal extension. Let's take one more. Come back to your neutral position with a nice flat back. Let's step your hand forward, each side, out in front of the shoulders, tucking the toes. We're going to curl the spine, lift the hips back and lifting the legs, pressing the heels down into a down dog stretch. Uncurl forward, shoulders over wrists, lower the hips, lifting the chest into our back extension. Round and curl, pressing back, thinking about belly button to spine. Press the heels down, feel length through the back of the body, a nice stretch through the back of the legs. Curl forward. When your shoulders are over your wrists, you're going to lower those hips down, allowing that lower back to arch, allowing the chest to lift up. And again, rounding, pressing back, down dog stretch. Uncurling forward into our back extension. And we'll take one more. From here, press back, bend one knee at a time onto hands and knees. I'm going to take a quick movement change line onto our back. So here we're going to come into our core strengthening. Some deep abdominal strengthening coming up, a really important part of supporting our spine and encouraging good posture. So with our feet tucked in under our knees, we're going to bring our hands, reach them behind our head. Chin gently tilts to our chest, curl up into our lift up. Feel the tension through the upper tummy. Keep the elbows wide. Release your way down. Exhale as you curl up. Inhale to lower. Aiming to elevate the head and shoulders up and away from the mat. Using the hands to support the weight of the head so we don't feel any extra strain or work or tension into our neck muscles. And that allows us to focus on working and strengthening through the abdominal muscles. We're going to take two more here. And on our final one, we're going to pause at the top, release both hands, press the arms down, and we're going to pulse the arms nice and sharply, keeping the elbows locked. And we're going to pulse here for another 15. Keep the chin resting on the chest and reach your fingertips towards the end of your mat, stretching and lengthening through the top of the neck and shoulders. And we'll go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your lift position, reach the hands back, support the head, release down. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift our left leg up to tabletop, followed by the right leg. We're in double tabletop here. Check to see that your low back is flat and your tummy muscles are scooped up and in. Again, supporting the head, we'll return to our lift up exercise, releasing down. We've got about 6 to 8 more here. Focusing on seeing if you can get as much lift as you did when your feet were on the floor. This time our gaze is towards our knees, or even past the knees towards the toes. Keeping those elbows wide. On our next one, we're going to hold at the top. Again, take our arm release and come into our 100th arms, which is our strong arm pulses, keeping those elbows straight, tilting chin down. Good, and let's see if we can hold this for another 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release those hands back, support the head, lower down. We're going to straight into our final one. Press your big toes together, lengthen your legs out into a V-leg position, knees extended, toes pointed, curl up again, release down. This time our gaze is at those toes, helping to elevate the head and shoulders up a fraction higher. If this position feels a little too challenging, feel free to return to your tabletop with a bent knee position or lower those feet back to the ground. Good work, a little harder for the last 2. And then we're going to do our final one with our hold at the top. Release those arms, whichever position you're working in. Hold strong through the core. Keep your back flat to the mat below you and pulse your arms. And let's take our final 10. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause there, bend the knees in. Now 2 hands onto your left knee, lengthen your right leg away. Swap. If your head and shoulders need a little rest, just lower head and shoulders down to the mat. Continue to switch through the legs. Get any combined hip opener on one side through the front and a stretch through the back on the opposite side. Now, if you're ready, chin to chest, curl back up, forehead squeezes towards the knee. Continue to take that leg switch, moving slowly and really seeking length through the leg. And we'll take 1 more on each side. Good. Both knees into chest, squeeze them in, lower head and shoulders, and just take a few mini circles around with your knees as you draw them in and up towards the chest. Lower 1 foot at a time. From here, we're going to roll all the way over onto our front. We're working into some strong back extension, strengthening through the back of the body, opening through the front. So resting forehead down on the mat. Take both hands and interlace the fingers behind your hips and body. We're going to keep our hips pressed down into the mat. A slight squeeze into your bottom muscles. Reach your elbows and hands away from your body and use that to lift the chest up, opening through the front, squeezing the shoulder blades together, elevating through the chest and forehead, looking down at the mat. Release that, soften the elbows. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, draw those hands away from your body, lengthen and lift through the chest and the head. Keep the chin tilted down. Draw those elbows together and the shoulder blades. And release. We're going to take 2 more of those. Lengthening away as you exhale. Pausing at the top and really drawing those shoulders down and back. And release. Exhale. Last one. Really squeeze shoulder blades together. Use that grip to lengthen the hands away from the hips. And release down. Nice soft breath out. Let's release those hands for a moment, resting by our body. We're going to take the focus through the lower back and hips. Squeeze your big toes together. Keep length through the legs. And we're going to stretch our pinky toes away from us, lengthening the knees and elevating the legs away from the mat. Release down. Squeeze through the legs. Press the big toes, reach the baby toes away. Squeeze through the hips and lift. We are now strengthening through that lower back, deep core, and those strong glute muscles through the back of the body. Again, we'll take one more slow one here. Lifting up. Pause at the top where we continue to squeeze the muscles. And then release. Now we're going to work 4 more total, combining both the upper body and the lower body action together. So interlace those hands back behind your body. Take your breath in. Exhaling out. Reach the hands away from the bottom. Squeeze the big toes together. Curl the upper back and the legs away, coming into full spinal extension. And release. In your own time, inhale and then lift and extend on your exhale. Feel that upper body pull away. Strong squeeze through the shoulder blades. Squeeze toes and legs together. Strong squeeze through your glute muscles. Let's take 2 more. Nice pause at the top. Continue to look down at the mat so our neck stays long and neutral. When you're fully resting on the mat, release your hands up by your side. We're going to just take 1 breath here. And then we're going to press the hands into the mat, keeping the pelvis down. We're coming into a nice back extension here. This should feel a lot more relaxed and softer, less active than the previous lift. 1 breath here. And then we're going to take a roll onto our side. So we're rolling towards the front. We're going to prop up on our elbow, elbow under shoulder. Both legs are nice and long. Using the hand in front to support us, we're going to lift the top leg up and squeeze it back behind us. Forward, lower down. Lift up, squeeze back behind, forward and down. What we want to notice here is as we squeeze back, we've got a strong clench through the bottom muscle, and we're also opening out through the front of that hip. As I said earlier, this is helping us to work on that nice flexibility through the front of the hip, balancing out any seated posture we might be in during the day. Also, if you spend a lot of time on the bike, in a kayak or running up hills, you will be prone to tight hips. And here we're both lengthening and opening through the front of the hip, along with strengthening and helping to really encourage those strong hip muscles to work around the back of the hip. Good. This next time we're going to lift up, squeeze back. Now hold your leg back there, knees straight. We're going to take some small circles, keeping the hip open, thinking about belly button to spine. Relax shoulders, gentle circles. Our hip is an extension. Our bottom muscles are working strong to stabilize and generate the movement. And we'll go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Forward and release. Now bend both legs as you come up into a seated position. Allow both knees to really press into the ground. Hand on the outside of the front leg. We're going to press our knees down, lift up through the hips, reach the top arm up by the ear. Coming into a nice hip opener combined with a side reach. Exhale, lifting those hips up, pressing the knees down, squeezing the hips forward, and release. Let's take one more on this side. Exhale up, reach the arm long, reach out of your fingertips, feeling a lovely stretch through the front and side of the hip and lower waist. And release. Now let's take those legs, sweep them round, and we'll finish on the opposite side. Back down onto the elbow, nice and long through the hips and legs, supporting with the front hand. Lifting that leg up, squeezing it back behind, forward and down. Up, squeeze back, nice straight knee here, forward and release. As you squeeze back, try keep your hips nice and stacked, so we're getting length through the hips. And we're not cheating by extending that lower back. We're going to take 2 more. And on this next one, with our last one, we're going to hold it back there. Challenge the glutes more while we keep that open hip position, coming into our small leg circles. Good, keeping height and length through the leg. And let's finish with 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower leg down. Reach and slide your knees up in front of you, both knees bent. Pressing the knees down, support through the outside hand. Exhale, hips up and forward, arms overhead. And release. Good, working into 2 more of those. Pausing at the top for a fraction. Reach fingertips long, elevate through that outside hip. Good. From here, we'll take our final stretch. We're going to come into a 4-point kneeling position. And we're going to lift those hips up and forward, bringing the hands down into the lower back, almost onto the hips. Chin down, we're going to inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, release the hands all the way overhead. Squeeze both hip muscles, squeeze the hips forward. Release the hands back down. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale, reach the arms forward. Allow the hips to squeeze forward, opening through the front of the chest and the front of the hips. And release. And one more. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale to reach forward. Nice back extension. At the same time, finishing with some lovely opening through the whole entire front of the body. The quads, the hips, the core muscles, and the chest. And release down, lowering hips to heels. Well done. Thanks for joining as we really focused on some short, sharp movements and exercises to really enhance our posture. Really helpful if we do a lot of desk work. Also helpful for sport to improve our posture and our efficiency. So I hope you enjoyed. Head along to my website if you want any more information or you want to join any future classes.